Hey, Shopley team, welcome to our strategy session. Drop us a comment in the Q&A and let us know where you're tuning in from. I'll give everybody a few minutes here. I know we've got a really exciting call. We've got lots of questions this morning going, are we going to get first look at some of the compensation plan? And my answer to that is absolutely. We're still finalizing, the pretty PowerPoint document. So today, you're not going to see the pretty PowerPoint document, and we're just going to touch on a lot of the basics, but we are getting so close to the pointy end of this. It's incredibly exciting. We were on the phone over the weekend with our tech team, and they said, Rachel, how does it feel to have been working on this for so long and it's almost there? And it is just a feeling I've never felt before. I've been married, I've had kids, and this is up there with them, I tell you. It's getting incredibly excited to sit back and look at what I've talked about with so many of you. What we've all talked about is actually so close to fruition. And I couldn't be more excited to share some of the details with you today. Now, let me just see. We've got everyone jumping on. Now, joining me today is Lyndon. Welcome to the call, Lyndon.
Hey, Rachel, great to be here. Great to be out there with all our Shopley family.
Now, we have Jorge. I let him off the call today. He is so incredibly busy. He's finalizing some of the documents, and Craig is out traveling today. He's interstate at the moment doing some meetings. So it's just Lyndon and I. But before we jump into all the updates, I just wanted to start with a massive thank you. I think sitting back over the weekend and working with the tech team on this and the questions they were asking about our excitement level, it's really made me sit back and, want to acknowledge the patience, the consistency of each and every one of you that have stayed connected, stayed engaged, and, really continued to believe in where we're headed. That is not lost on me, and it really tells me everything I need to know about the kind of community that we have here, and that really means a lot. So a big thank you to each and every one of you. Now, before we move into the comp plan today, I also just wanted to touch base on the international model. So last week, you all met the Director of International, Jared Thwaites. We did have some tech issues with him, so we will get him on next week, I would say, so you can hear a little bit more from him in, what he's been doing, the merchants he's been working with, etc. But I wanted to show a little visual of the difference between, a tier one country and then the international model. Just, I know a lot of people like to see the visual. We've had a lot of questions about it in relation to people are just genuinely really excited because before some of the pricing and some of the behaviors of the platform didn't lend itself to being able to build in an international market. And they know the complexities of an international market. So, we've really introduced this because we know that not every market operates the same. Different countries have many different rules, but more importantly, many different income levels, different platform expectations, different buying behaviors, which is really important. So what we've really sat back and looked at is instead of trying to force one global model on everybody, we've built something that adapts to the realities of each and every market. And the great thing about that is it allows us to open the door globally in a manner that will work instantly and be scalable. And that's really, really important. So give me a moment here to share my screen. So what you'll be seeing here on my screen now is tier one and tier two international. So the tier one on the right here, this is essentially the licensing pricing that we've showed you several weeks ago now. And on the left here is the tier two international. So obviously just to reiterate here, what we've really touched base on and what I like to refer to this as is market fundamental driven pricing. It includes everything from income levels, disposable medium income, GDP, purchasing power, consumer behavior. We've really sat down and taken all of this into account when looking at this particular pricing for the international market. So a community partner in a tier one country. So tier one is essentially the one markets we're doing business in right now is Australia, the US, Canada, and EU. So 199.99 license with a 19.99 subscription. For a merchant, 199.99 license and 39.99 subscription. Now, these are the updated licenses that we've touched base on several weeks ago. Now, this pricing will kick off once we finalize the programming of the compensation plan. So these are not in the system right now, but they are coming. So the international pricing is a community partner will be a 99.99 license with a 9.99 subscription. A merchant will be 99.99 for a license and a 19.99 subscription. So you'll see there that essentially in an international market or a tier two market, the community partner and the merchant pricing is essentially half that of a tier one country for those reasons I've mentioned before. Now, I really just wanted to show you that visually because we have had a lot of questions on that. And I know it's really important for a lot of you to know. I know a lot of you have already started having those conversations in the international markets. So it's really important that you have this information at hand. But now I wanted to move a little bit into the first look at the updated comp plan. So you've obviously heard us talk about this quite a lot as to what we're kind of wanting to achieve off the back of this comp plan. Initially, when we sat back, we really just wanted to look at, okay, what do we want to achieve by making changes to the comp plan? Obviously, firstly, we wanted something that is simple to understand. We wanted something that's simple to explain and something that is simple to build with. And that's essentially what we've created the whole plan around. We've talked about simplicity from, our very first call over 2 months ago now. Every decision we look at and every decision we make is, with that simplicity in mind. But, obviously, most importantly, we also wanted to look at something that rewards the right behaviors, and that is absolutely critical. The big focus is looking at building real community, and that's really one of the things, we've looked at. So what we kind of done is, with all of that taken into account, we went to market and we looked at all different comp plans. What works for those comp plans, what doesn't work for those comp plans, what we want to include, what we don't want to include. We've looked at some of the most successful plans, in the industry on social e-commerce platforms. We look at some of the ones that were mostly criticized. We have looked far and wide to make sure, what we're actually bringing you is workable and easy for you guys to understand. Now, when we've looked at all those other plans, it wasn't for us to copy, but it was for us to learn. We really wanted to look at, what works, what doesn't work, and what is going to be easy when you guys are out there, wanting to build a community, essentially. We wanted people to feel connected. We wanted vendors to feel supported. We wanted to ensure products are moving on the platform and communities are naturally forming around what's being shared. That's been a real focus because when that happens, growth becomes a byproduct. So, it's been really, really important for us to take all of this, into account when looking at this. And we have touched on this and, this is probably the biggest part of this reset that we've looked at because it took an awful lot of time. We also took the time to talk to leaders out there as to, their thoughts, what they want to see. We've also taken the time to run this through, this isn't just me sitting here making the decisions on this. It isn't just Lyndon sitting here making the decisions on this. It was a a collective decision. We've also run this by some of the biggest leaders in the MLM space. We've run it by some of the biggest influencers, that we know, to make sure from a social commerce point of view, they are happy with the rebates, they're happy with the direct bonuses, they're happy with how they can build a community on the platform. So it hasn't just been a this is what we want, this is what we're changing. It really has been a lot of time and expertise that has gone into this. What we have just spent the time last week and over the weekend doing, and this is, to me, I would say, probably one of the most critical parts of this, because on paper you can have one of the most sexy, payment plans ever, but unless it's actually going to pay out and reward those right behaviors, then it's a complete waste of time. So we've spent most of last weekend, over the weekend, really modeling how adapting people's business to this pay plan to see how it is going to work for them. And I can tell you, I am so glad that, we invested the time to do that rather than just rushing and running to market with this, because what it has done is it has given us the ability to sit back and look at making the tweaks, whether it be to CV, to QV, to, percentage of payments, rank structures. Like, we have been able to, and we have made over the last week quite a few little changes to ensure that what we are bringing you is the best possible version for each and every one of you to be able to build when, working your community. So that has been an absolutely priceless point that we, as I said, we could have, we really didn't want to just rush a plan to market. We really wanted to invest that time to, to look at that and to troubleshoot that, because it is so important. As I said, it can look great on paper, but in practice, we needed to make sure it was going to work. And that's where we've really invested that time. We've still got a couple more days to go on that, just to make sure that we have it, adapting to people's businesses and communities, and to the platform as best as possible. But we are pretty much almost there. So as I said, this hasn't just been a me making the decisions. This hasn't just been a Lyndon. This has been a collective effort of all of us. A lot of you, I see a lot of you on this call, we've had these discussions with you too, as to what you guys want to see, what you think is going to work. And Lucky Lyndon has been the one, spearheading this, working very closely with Jorge to make sure we've got all the parts right. And, Lyndon will be spearheading the training on all of this as we move forward. As I said, today is just a first look. We are finalizing, the PowerPoints and the training. We're planning on bringing that to you next week with our date. But today is just really aimed at giving you that high level view, so you can go out there and continue having those conversations. We've touched on the last couple of weeks. Start having those discussions with vendors. Start talking to those people that may not have liked the last comp plan, may not have wanted to be involved in that time. So now we want to arm you with the details that we can to make those conversations easier. So look, this is going to be Lyndon's first time of really training it or talking about it to everyone, rather than just in our internal circles. So, I know he's going to kill it, but let's just be patient with him. Over to you, Lyndon.
Well, thank you very much, Rachel. Lovely introduction, and great to be chatting with everyone today. And this is really to give you a little bit of a teaser before you have the detail, but hopefully for you to see that we're on the right track. We do have something that's really innovative and should complement the idea that we have with Shoply. I've said many times that I believe that Shoply is, and the whole concept is really lightning in a bottle. It's a matter of how we capture that and how we set a plan around developing that great idea, into the potential that it really has. And someone will do it. We just need to make sure that it is Shopley, because it's a great concept. That's why so many people um, saw the same vision that we did in the very beginning when Shopley started. So, we're determined to make sure that we see the vision through to the end. We're loyal, we're focused, we've been here from the beginning, and we plan to see this being a success, huge success that we believe it can become. And Rachel is right. We spoke to a large number of industry professionals, both in the e-commerce community, influencer community, also the direct selling community, and even those, the very upper levels of the executive community within the industry, to get their feedback. It's all very well to innovate, but sometimes you can go that little bit too far and be a little bit too far removed from what people are used to when you start to design plans and ideas and come up with things that are novel, but that people will actually buy into. So, just a little bit of my background as your president here at Shopley. I've never held a corporate position before. I've certainly consulted and I've certainly worked very closely with corporate teams in the past, but I'm a humble distributor who started in the industry back in the 80s, just as a teenager. And my career extends to three major network marketing companies that were all very different. My first was a 20-year stint in a stair-step network marketing company that started back in the 50s. And that was really where I did my apprenticeship. And there were lots of amazing aspects to that company and also their plan. My second stint was with a uni-level company of around 10 years. And again, that company was very different and it had some amazing aspects to that, pay plan, but quite different to a stair step. And lastly, around 10 years in a binary company. That was the main focus. Again, very different. That company became a billion-dollar plus success story. About 10 years ago, it propelled me into the top 20 highest paid network marketers in the world in business for home. And it was a plan that initially I was very, very a little bit scared of, I suppose, because I'd never been part of a binary compensation plan before. But it was something that I softened into and wanted to see how it would work in reality. And again, very, very successful. So for what we have at, Shopley, we have to realize that we're really breaking into new ground. We're not a network marketing company, but what we are is a company that's trying to meld a number of different worlds together. The world of e-commerce primarily, obviously the e-commerce world is exploding. The world of affiliate and influencer marketing, which is absolutely exploding. It's overtaken, network marketing in as far as its production in lightning speed. And so we have to really come up with a little bit of a hybrid concept with how we bring all these different participants together. Those like me that are old-time network marketing dinosaurs, those that are modern e-commerce influencers, affiliate marketers, those that have embraced the world of social selling, which is a little bit of a divergence and adaptation in the world of network marketing, sort of moving into that new era, how we kind of bring all these different stakeholders and talent pools together. So if we look at those that are wanting to team build, so the more networking side, if we look at the industry, which is obviously changing rapidly, when you look at popularity and participation, you look at around 10% of people favour stair-step plans, around 30% of people favour uni-level plans, and around 60% of people favour binary plans. Binaries are obviously one of the newer forms of compensation plans in the network marketing arena. So what we've decided with regards to Shoply is with the community building side of the business, those that are actually going to be building a team, we're going to take aspects out of all of those plans to be able to build a hybrid plan that combines the aspects of binary, uni-level, and also stair-step into the one plan. Now, one thing I think you need to understand is that obviously for Shoply to really realize its potential, we have to be globally relevant. We have to be a global success story. So that means not only being successful in the United States and Australia, but also into the Asian communities, into Europe and Africa and South America, etc. But the most important of those is really the Asian community. And the reason that I say that is that when you look at in the past in the world of network marketing, to become a billion-dollar success story, to have that level of sales, you have to have a foothold within Asia. You know, we know that in the US and also in Australia, we're not too dissimilar. There are a lot of people that are quite jaded about the industry. They look at the industry as being a little bit old-fashioned. That does not take hold in the Asian market. Network marketing is still sexy, hot. Entrepreneurship is sort of part of the Asian DNA, and so we need to make sure that whatever plan we put forward, it has to be a plan that's going to be popular and sought after for participation within the Asian markets if we want to make sure that Shoply has penetration into Asia. And so that was certainly something that came into our thought process. And kudos to Rachel and the team looking at also those developing countries and understanding that that one size doesn't fit all. That you do have to have that flexibility of addressing that certain countries around the world, you know, average salaries may be a quarter or less of what it might be in the United States or Australia. The price of products, you know, a bottle of vitamins in America might be $100 and a bottle of vitamins in Vietnam might be $20. And so the cost of products, etc., mean that we need to have flexibility with regards to what we're charging. We can't charge the same in a developing country than what we may be charging in a fully developed country. So to see what some of those costs are, we know that with licenses, with subscriptions, also for vendors in those developing markets, it's going to be set at really around a half or less. And I think that will increase the level of participation into our program because we want to make sure that Shoply is kind of future-proofed. You know, we want to make sure that we're not starting with something that we have to start changing pricing and changing our concepts and ideas. We want to be able to start with something that's going to be relatively future-proof. We're always going to have to roll with the punches as market conditions change, but we think we've got the balance right with providing something that can work right out of the gates so that Shoply can build with scale. We want to be able to bring on board as many vendors as quickly as we can. We want to see enrollments drive as quickly as possible so we can give people incredible options as to what they can purchase and what's available on the platform as we expand into different markets around the world. And that was really one of the reasons why we wanted to bring in a corporate team member that can help focus on international development. And Jared Thwaites is someone that Rachel and I have worked with for many years. He's very well traveled and has worked extensively through Europe and Africa and Asia. And he is just a fantastic addition to this team. So if we look at what we've done, one thing we've done is simplification. We had previously a plan that was very complicated, that was very hard to understand very hard to teach and train to other people. We had too many options, too many participation levels, and so it was very confusing to see where everyone fits in. And so what we have with our plan to be released is there really is just 4 participation levels, keeping it very, very, very simple. So number 1, you can participate as a customer, someone who simply wants to find a good e-commerce platform to purchase from. And obviously what we'll have at Shoply is a great selection of new age, boutique, independent brands, and many of them will be exclusive, to the Shoply platform. And so customers can purchase and pick up rewards that they can use towards future shopping. So rewards customer is the first level of participation. Then someone can become a brand partner as another option, which is really a combination of those who want to build a influencer style business or an affiliate style business, with the benefit that it isn't going to be one-off sales. Normally in the industry, you're utilizing your digital footprint to help develop brands, and you're able to be remunerated through single sales that you generate. Here on our platform, they can be residual, and also they can be transient. So if you bring on board a customer as an influencer or an affiliate, you can earn remuneration not only through the purchase of the products you might be promoting, but also if they look and purchase different products on the Shoply platform, they'll all be linked back to you as the affiliate or influencer or brand partner with Shoply. Thirdly, we have merchants, and obviously merchants are the companies that are partnering with Shoply that are coming on board, and at every level of participation, with the exception of customers, you can actually refer merchants to the platform and be remunerated as a merchant developer. And lastly, and this is what we're going to be talking about today, is being a community builder. This is you developing your own Shoply community, where you can earn a commission on the total sales that are generated through the community that you built. And I think one of the issues that we had previously was there were a lot of people who were very talented networkers or community builders that found a real challenge in being able to structure and create synergies within their team, linking like-minded people together, maybe like-minded team builders that were close with regards to geography, maybe people that had worked together before, had similar likes and interests. Networkers love to be able to construct their team where they can put complementary people together to help to build momentum, cooperation, team building, synergies. And we didn't really have that. It was when people were enrolled, people kind of felt like they fell into a black hole and didn't really know who they could work with and who they could reach out for help. So that's one thing that we also wanted to address with this plan. So we've got 2 qualification levels for those that are going to be building as a community builder. So you can participate on a soft entry point of 50 points per month. Now keep in mind that you've got 10 points, for your subscription. So that's really 40 points of purchase through the community, not just through one vendor. It could be through multiple vendors, or the full level of participation, which is 100 points. So 100 points of purchase, which includes 10 points of subscription. That's 90 points that you're purchasing through one or multiple vendors through the Shoply e-commerce platform. At 100 points, that's where you can maximize commissions that you can earn through the pay plan. At 50 points, you're getting a little bit of a soft entry, and you're earning roughly a little over half what you could earn as a full paid, full qualified member. Now, the ranks that we're going to be introducing are all going to relate to influence terminology. So we're not going to be talking about rubies and silvers and diamonds, etc. We're going to be talking about influencer ranks. And so, starting off from the rank of nano all the way up to being a global influencer. So that's where our titles are going to work. We want to make sure too that we can build, as we make this more successful, that we really build a transfer buy mentality. In the world of network marketing, people have a very tight product range to be able to purchase through. And for some people, they're buying exactly the same thing month after month after month. It might be a product they absolutely love, but in the world of network marketing, there does become a lot of product fatigue. So here, I'm sure there'll be people that'll have their favorites, maybe even products that people will want to buy every single month. But we want to create that transfer buy habit that people are looking at so many different options of what they can buy or products that they would be buying anyway, but they want to buy them through the Shoply platform. So we're not just falling back into that old habit of network marketing where it's a 1 or 2 product qualification each month. There may be people buying 10 different products a month, which is great. So hopefully we'll see that CV will boost, and the amount of income that can be earned through that through those community commissions can rapidly grow. So with regards to the plan, we are going to be working on a binary qualifier. So for instance, that will be one aspect of the plan. So you will be building 2 legs, and you will have the option to be able to place people within your organization where you think that it's going to be conducive to synergy, where it's going to be supporting other leaders, that are building and growing. And so that concept of team building and focusing on, it might be only 4 or 5 key leaders within your organization that you might be placing people with. You have the ability to be able to do that. There will be a rank qualification to be able to place people. We don't want people placing people at the very, very beginning where they have no idea of what people may or may not do. Obviously, talk is cheap. You want to look at people's actions to be able to make those decisions as to whether you're going to placement sponsor people within their organisation. So we will have some checks and balances there, so that when people are placing people and constructing their team units, that they do it hopefully as accurately as possible. We will have that uni-level aspect of the plan through matching bonuses that will extend multiple generations. So we are going to heavily reward you building leadership levels, focusing on building strong leadership talent within your group. So that will be a big part of the plan as well. And really what we want to do too is try to find the fairest and strongest and boldest way of combining the 2 networks that we have, both in the existing Shoply genealogy, Shoply world, and also in the Lev AI world, in combining those genealogies together with a level of synergy and strength. And so we feel that we've found a way of being able to combine these genealogies where virtually every single person will be advantaged. Every single person will have people within their genealogy that maybe they didn't have previously. And we're going to be focusing on rewarding those team members that are active, that have been the most loyal, that have been with us right from the beginning. They have paid up subscriptions. They're enrolling people. We want to take your date stamp into consideration too, how long you've been with Shoply. But if you're someone that's been loyal, that's been there from the beginning, that hasn't lost the vision, we're going to make sure that that those people are rewarded the most with regards to combining these two genealogies together. And speaking of Lev AI, it does open up another door where we can look at finding other subscription opportunities to also strengthen the product offering that we have at Shoply. So obviously we've got the AI subscription with Lev, and I'm sure that there'll be people from Shoply that'll want to subscribe and utilize that tool as well. But we can look at value adding to what we have at Shoply by even maybe offering a travel opportunity or travel subscription where you can book low cost travel and that be a subscription cost, hopefully cheaper than anyone else out there in the marketplace. But it gives you just a little bit of an idea on what can be value added to make this opportunity even better and better. We also have in the works a founders concept. We want to be able to reward once the pay plan is announced and we let that loose out there in the field, that we want to be able to put together a founders promotion to reward those pioneer builders, those fast acting builders that are enrolling, that are bringing on board merchants as quickly as possible. We know that for Shoply to be really successful, we need a diversity of vendors, more choice, and the best way to do that is to be able to bring on board as many Shoply members, new talent, new blood to the business as quickly as we can. So that founders program we're going to look at launching in the coming months, which will be a great enhancement to driving fast money for all of those leaders that have caught the vision, that have wanted to build this ground floor opportunity, something that has really never ever been done before, where we're combining the world of e-commerce, networkers, affiliates, influencers, rewards members, and vendors all together in one place, like one community that is supporting each other. And our plan is to make sure that we do that absolutely fantastically well. So the initiative also with making sure that we value and see the potential in developing markets and countries. I mean, what we've seen with the geopolitical issues that we have at the moment, one little shipping strait that can be closed can have devastating effects around the world. And so building a model that focuses on shipping US or Australian-made products to far-flung countries is always going to be fraught with issues and concerns just in transporting and importing products into other markets. We want to focus on developing in-country brands, local brands that are serving the communities of those countries in the very, very best possible way. I had a wonderful conversation with a leader last week that was showing me an amazing brand, locally manufactured. In fact, I would want to buy this brand myself, but it was one of those brands that is all of the time and energy and talent was putting into creating this incredible high quality science-based brand, but there wasn't much energy putting into branding, promoting, and getting the word out for this brand. So it was kind of like this best kept secret brand that if people only knew about it, it would just explode, but people don't know about it. And that's where we come in at Shoply, is giving exposure to these brands that never reach their potential because they just don't have the marketing clout. And that's obviously where we come in. So I'm just having a quick look at my notes to see if there's any points there that I want to add to what I've shared, but I think that's pretty much it, and giving an overview on what we're planning to do. So obviously, just as a little bit of a summary, we're creating a plan that makes it easy for people to fit within the lane where they feel comfortable. You do not have to be a community builder. If you want to be build a strictly affiliate or influencer model, you can stay in that lane and it will be very rewarding. You have a residual aspect to that. If you just want to be a customer, you can stay in that lane. But if you do want to build a team and earn commission on the overall production of that team, then we're going to have a plan that is going to be a hybrid. It's going to be a new age plan that combines the world of binary, unilevel, stair step all together, with the world of e-commerce into something that for a pure network marketer, all of the necessary actions to build a great team are going to be rewarded. Being able to structure your team and link like-minded people together for synergy, being able to place people together within your network. You've got full disclosure on where people are located in your network, and the highest rewards will actually be paid through the unilevel aspect of the plan. For someone that builds an amazing, huge business, the majority of the money that they'll earn is through the unilevel part of the plan, and that's those matching bonuses on the successful teams that you have an input in developing. So for that, I think is very, very exciting. And obviously, we want to make sure that where we're different is that we're looking at an endless options on what you can purchase in very much a transfer buy scenario. Yes, people will have their favorites, but we hope that there's going to be new brands and products that people will want to add to their monthly purchases each and every month. So there is no product fatigue, there is no brand fatigue, and the people are really constantly stimulated. We have 8,000 individual products on the marketplace right now, but we want to see that obviously growing. We want to see that in individual countries, not just throughout, the whole Shoply platform. So I'm very excited about the cost changes for developing markets. I think that's been very internationally sensitive and sensible. We want to be able to open, Vietnam's and South Africa's and China's to really provide more impact. These are countries that are screaming out for opportunity, and they have to do it using locally manufactured products. So, Rachel, look, I might hand back to you, but I'm very excited. I know how hard you've been working, and the same with Jorge and Craig as well. But I think that we do have a tiger by the tail here with Shoply. We've just got to make sure that we let it loose and people can see what we see and can roll with it and start building a fantastic team.
Absolutely. And I love to look at it when I sit back and try and, I get asked quite a lot, how would you explain the comp plan simply? And I always like to say, for me, it's the three C's: cashback, community, and connection, because we know that is what everybody is wanting. It may not be for a lot of people just about earning money. For them, it's about being part of a community. For them, it's about creating, a group of people that they have a connection with. So that's what really excites me about this, is because, and it comes back to what we've talked about in the beginning. Yes, we've simplified everything, but you can still come in and build in your own lane. If you just want to shop and earn that cash back and transfer buy, absolutely, you can do that. If you want to build a community around the brands you bring on and create that connection with other influencers, you can absolutely do that. If you want to build a community and grow that community, you can absolutely do that. And I think a lot of these changes, we've seen the shift in the way people shop. We've seen the shift in people no longer trust advertising. They trust people that they know, that they love, and that they have a connection with. It really is about connection and community. And one of the big changes we've seen, over the last 6 months is once upon a time, from an e-commerce and a social commerce point of view, people shopped for ease. I know that's me. I will go to a platform, and I will buy everything at the one shop because I don't want to have to run around everywhere. But what we're really seeing with for lack of a better words, I'm making myself sound old here, but the younger generation is that's not an issue for them. They want to be part of a community. They want to feel like they have a connection, and it's all about being price conscious. So if they can get on a platform and get a cash back rather than going and buying it on another platform that they're already on, that's really important to them. And we are really at the forefront of that, because people are choosing recommendations over algorithms. And I feel the changes that we're made, we've really seen that shift, and that shift has continued to develop, and that shift will continue to develop. And I think with all these changes we have made, we are at the forefront of that. Social commerce is no longer emerging, it's here, and we are here with it. And that is what is so incredibly exciting, for me about this. Now, I know that was a lot for you to take in. And as I said, that was just the first look. What we are working on is a visual of all of that, again, with that simplification in mind. So I don't want you to feel overwhelmed or panicked. I know I'm getting a lot of messages. You can probably hear those tings to my WhatsApps going, oh, I love this part. I love this part. And I think one of the most exciting parts for a lot of people is the fact that whether you are a brand partner or whether you are a community partner, you can all bring on vendors. And that is what's really, really exciting, because people want to bring on the brands that they know, they love, they trust, and they want to shop with. So, very, very exciting times. As I said, we plan to come to you next week with a bit of a prettier PowerPoint, everything simplified that you can then go out there and, start having those conversations and share that. So from here, it is continue having those conversations, continue talking to those merchants. We've given you a little bit more information now to start sharing with those people that are interested in building a community, and just really keep sharing that vision, because what we're building now is more relevant than ever. And I'm really, really excited. So with that, thank you all for being with us, and we'll look forward to seeing you next week. Thanks, Lyndon.
No
Bye,
worries. Thanks.
guys.
Bye, guys.